Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today I've got a really interesting little gadget. Now, I've never actually used this, but someone gave me it and said, see what you can do with that. And essentially, it's a bouquet maker. So it's like a little tube that has holes on both sides. And what you're meant to do is you're meant to feed your stems through, and then you can give it a twist. So essentially, you can make a hand-tied bouquet without having the worry of how to get it to sit or how to put it together. So basically, you put everything in vertical and perpendicular to each other, and then you just give it the twist. So as I say, I've never used this. I've seen them, but I've never seen them being used, and I don't really know if it's a product that's worth having. So what we've got here is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got about 18 holes here. So what I've got is I've got a range of different flowers. Our main flower is going to be these beautiful roses. Now the great thing with these roses is they've got a nice strong stem, and they've also got some nice foliage as well. So that's going to be our main flower. I've got a few little carnations and some nice little gerbera, and also just to give us a little bit of volume and change in texture, I've got a few alstroemeria. But I think it would be important to have a little bit of foliage as well. So I've got a little bit of this wild plum. This just came from my garden, but you could use any foliage. And the main thing really with this is that we need the stems to be nice and clean. So I'm just going to clean these off. And I'm also going to split this one. This is going to be too big, I think. So we're going to split that to make 2 pieces out of the one. And then we can begin. Now, I'm not sure if it would be better to not use greenery or to use greenery first, or we're just going to have to give it a go. So if I was making a hand tie, I would start with the foliage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in, not into the center hole, but into, say, 3 of the holes in the middle ground, I think would be the best way to describe it. The only thing with the foliage is it slightly makes it more difficult to see what we're doing. Now this, yeah, you can't really have uneven stems. So all I'm doing is feeding that in. Then we can look at our flowers. So our main rows I want to come through there. Now this is interesting because it's a little bit thicker. And then I think we'll go with our alstroemeria. So we do need to line these up. Then we can just work on our other flowers. So I think maybe just using the desk as a way of supporting this is not a bad idea. So I'm just, again, as I always say, try and work in a logical way. So I'm just going to go around and do that. So my friend who got this, she bought it on Temu, and that just means it came from China. And she just saw it and it said flowers, and she likes her flowers. She does study flower arranging, and she thought, oh, I'll get one of them for my toolbox. But she hasn't used it, so she gave it to me first, and she thought I could be the guinea pig for this. But as a florist who's made a lot of hand-tied bouquets, it is just a case of practice. So the more you make, the more happy you will be at making hand ties. So do we really need something like this? The great thing about this is it's reusable. So if you do try it and really like it, you can just use it again and again. So if you are really struggling with how to make hand tie, then maybe this is the solution for you. So I am just feeding this in. Now, because of our foliage basically working to here, that is our thing. So now we can just open this, and that is our bouquet. Now I can just twist these around a little bit as well. So, do we love it? I don't know. But if I'm looking at this and I'm thinking 2/3 to 1/3, then we would just cut straight across. Now this could go straight into a vase, but I want to put it into a container. Which we need some water for. So it should be able to just stand. And it does. I think having a little bit of foliage in there definitely makes a difference. But do I like it? I don't know. I suppose it's one of those things you'd have to have a play with and a practice with and then decide. It does space things out quite nicely. So if you've got a limited amount of flowers, then maybe this is actually quite a good option. But do I love it? I don't think so. Because it's actually really hard to... I want to make sure... Yeah. Well, there we go. I think let me know in the comments below, do you have one? Do you use one regularly? Do you like the end result? I mean, this gerbera, I didn't notice, had gone really, really short. So now if I want to pull it back up, it's going to be out of the water. It is showing off all the flowers to their best advantage. But was it worth it for doing it? I suppose maybe it's like making hand ties where the more you use it, the more au fait you will become with using it. But I think because I know how to make hand ties, I'll probably just stay with what I know. But interesting. And I think it's really interesting to actually try things out. What I'd like to do with this is actually add more material. But because of the collar, I feel that I'm limited to being able to do that. I think there is a little bit of space that I could have maybe put in a few pieces of grass, which might have helped with volume. But what this does give is it does give quite a light, airy feel. So, as I say, let us know in the comments below, would you buy one of these? I'm sitting on the fence, so I'll wait to see what you say. So thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I mean, it was just a little bit fun and a little bit of interest with a different product. And I think that's important, is to try things out and see what result you get. Maybe actually if I'd kept this a little bit shorter, we'd get a better result with it looking a little bit fuller. But actually, it's okay. Let me know what you think. So we've got new videos regularly. If you want a little bit more flower inspiration, then have a look in the description box and we'll post a link to one of our other designs. So maybe I'll post a link for a hand tie to give you the opposite version, or to give you an alternative way of making a bouquet like this. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.